going to talk about today. It's something we haven't tried on this channel before. See you in a little bit. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So what we have for you today is we're going to talk about a new addition to my daughter's TX22. The firearm is clear, just to let everybody know. We've been playing with this. It's a nice little gun. She really likes it. We have done a couple modifications to it so far. We added some extra texture grip just so it had a little bit better feel of the hand. We also added a fiber optic front sight to it. What we hadn't done to it is, I've noticed when I shoot this gun, quite honestly, I just shoot heavy guns better. Although this is a great gun, it is so light. When I was shooting it, it tended to kind of, I mean, I'm exaggerating here, but it was harder to keep on target because it's so light. Being as I like heavier firearms, I saw this Game Changer Pro compensator, and I wanted just to see if the extra weight would help keep the firearm a little more steady for me. So we're going to take it out to the range and just see the results, and we'll do an overview at the tabletop on it, and then we'll talk about it when we're done. Alright guys, see you soon. Okay, so here is the actual compensator. So it's called the Game Changer Pro. Hopefully you can see that. So how it's designed, you see these ports here. There's two on each side. And so they shoot out at like a 45-degree angle each way. This is meant to help with the muzzle rise, even though it's a 22. They have a pretty neat video on their website of how it actually works. So it came with that, and it came with this rubber O-ring. And that's the problem I was having with it, is how it's designed to mount. Here's the TX22, and so I'll take the threaded protector off here. And then it utilizes the thread adapter that comes with it here. And this just simply screws onto the end of the barrel. And how it's designed is, so you slip this O-ring over here, and the only instructional video I could find, they are installing it on a Ruger Mark IV Lite, which has a different barrel configuration than this does. So what they tell you to do though is to screw it on, and then once it starts to get tight, you want to make sure these ports are facing straight up, and then back it off just a little bit. The problem is on this, it never gets really tight because there's really, if you can see, there's nothing for that washer to back up, the O-ring to back up against. So what ends up happening is you keep going, and once you think you get it tight, all of a sudden, boom, that O-ring has now, let me take this off here. So now the O-ring is back here, and it's loose, and you can, so it's not really designed for this type of a mount, even though this is the correct, when you go to their website, you shop by gun model, this is the correct part number. I'm going to put the slide back. If that O-ring's over there, it doesn't let the slide go all the way back into battery. And so what I did, I almost did the review, and it wasn't going to be a very good review on it. But I was like, okay, let's call Tandemkross and just see. And what I came to find out is when you're using it on a different gun other than like a Mark IV Ultralight, then they have a shim kit, and they sell this. It's like $5.99 or $6.99 on their website. I don't remember for sure. It's different washers or shims, different thicknesses. So what you have to do is experiment a little bit with your gun and what thickness and how many washers you're going to need to put here to give this O-ring a backing. Because now I don't have a Ruger Ultralight Mark IV. I do have a PC carbine barrel, and granted this is a different caliber, but it does have the threaded barrel, and this will simulate how it's supposed to go on the Mark IV. Get this O-ring off here. Sorry, kind of hard to do on camera. So, pretend this is the Mark IV. You slip on your O-ring here, and you screw this on. And then once it gets tight, you're supposed to back it off just a little bit. So these are up here. So now it has that backing to go up to and stay tight. So again, that doesn't really work on the TX22 or some other guns. So the combination I came up with this compensator for the TX22 is you just have to experiment with it because your threads might be in a different spot. But I ended up using 3 of the shims, and then you put your O-ring on. And that allowed me to get it so now it's tight. And you can see there's that gap in between the slide and here. So that's why it requires the shims. Hopefully you can see in here how it works. And I thought I had it right when I was doing the shooting video, which you'll see here in a little bit, but even then, I needed one more shim because as I was shooting, this started to rotate this way. And on the initial time we went shooting, I had that issue with my daughter. I noticed when she was shooting, the pattern became irregular. Well, when it's like this, when she was shooting, it was kicking the barrel down in this way. So when it was coming loose, you can imagine your hold, instead of the recoil fighting it just to keep it down this way, these ports, when it was turned this way, was actually causing the recoil of the gun to go down and to the left every time. And it was causing a really erratic pattern for her. So we stopped filming, and that's why I ended up getting this kit here. So, and I shot it today. You'll see the shooting footage. Off camera, when I was done, I was able to get a good 3 mags through it, and this ultimately didn't come loose. So, it works very well for its intended purpose. If I'm being real honest, I still believe this is better suited for like the Ruger Mark IV ultralights that have that big round barrel. Sorry I don't have one of those to show you the right way, but you get the idea with what I did on the PC carbine barrel. So that's basically the overview of it. Hope you guys like it. Okay, so the first target is going to be the left. We're shooting it without the compensator. 5-round group. Okay, now we're going to do the right target with the compensator. Okay, let's go to the target. Let's see here. So, left target was without the compensator. Not too bad, a little high. As it said, without the compensator, I have a tendency, that gun's so light, I kind of have a hard time keeping it on focus. That's my issue. With the compensator, brought it down a little tighter. Not a huge improvement. Wasn't the issue of recoil, but quite honestly, it's just easier to control for me personally with the extra weight of that compensator. That's it, guys. Well, there you have it. So, while I think it's a good product, I will tell you, I do think you need to be a little bit careful on which firearm you put it on. If it's not going to be, say, like a Ruger Mark IV that has that barrel type I showed you on the tabletop overview, you're definitely going to want to order that shim kit if you have just a regular threaded adapter like this does. Does it live up to its name of game changer? Well, you saw in the footage it did steady up the shots a little bit. That can be overcome with training. So while I don't think it's absolutely necessary, it's a fun item. It's very inexpensive. It's right around that $60 mark to add to this. So try it out, see if you like it on your personal firearm. And, you know, as always, guys, if you like videos like this, which I hope you do, I try to help you guys find things you can do to make shooting a little more enjoyable for you. I would appreciate it if you hit that like button, share with your friends, subscribe, and we'll see you on future videos. Alright, guys, shoot safe.